Greetings from Bogota, Colombia. Um, it's uh, it's kind of like a gold mine for people interested in Krishna consciousness. So I've been really busy with seminars they're organizing and meeting people, and it's been quite wonderful. Okay, and it's quite cold. Um, it's not cold enough to um, have heaters in the building, so it's not that bad, but okay. Reading from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Book 2, Chapter 2, Text 12. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tadarshane Jatamano Ratakula. Sankalpa Purvam Swajapam Samacharam Gatam Aruya Gatastri Pishtapam. Eager to see him, I chanted my mantra specifically for that purpose. In a very short time, a celestial airplane arrived. I climbed aboard and joyfully flew to the heavenly kingdom. Having an intense desire to fulfill, Gop Kumar now felt inspired to chant with special attention, correctly following all the rules for worship with the mantra. And so his desire to go to Swargaloka was quickly achieved. Omigana Timarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishnam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasade Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So greetings from Bogota. I really like it here. Of course, this morning I had to been up here since 1:15, and I had to finish my Monday morning greetings, so I didn't really get into my japa yet. But by Prabhupada's grace, I may say something. I'd like to start the class in a very unusual, a little bit of a different way. And also because many of the people didn't get the message that the class will be at 9:30. The class would be at 7:30. So I see only 19 people are here. That means at least 15 people or so didn't get that message. So I'll do a little something before, and then I'll start my class at the right time, 8 o'clock, with studying the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. But Gail is there, and Gail wrote me a question, and I want to read the question, and I want to answer it from two different ways. It's a little bit esoteric, but I think you'll all enjoy it. So here is Gail's question. She's reading a book called Lagu Bhagavatamrita. And I'm also studying this now with Niranjan Swami, how Krishna leaves Vrindavan, but he never leaves Vrindavan. Um, and I even read it today that, for Swakiya Ras, to satisfy the married impulse, he expands into Dwarka. There's so many things. It's very, and there's Apricot Vrindavan, there's Vrindavan, which is unmanifest. And even today in Gokul Vrindavan, you can still access that for those who are pure devotees. And then there's Prakat Vrindavan, where it's manifest, and how Krishna leaves Vrindavan, but he cannot actually leave Vrindavan. So it's very confusing. So Gail asked these questions. And I'm going to answer it. It's a little esoteric, but we'll enjoy it. Please accept my respectful obeisances. I am grateful for you and Srila Prabhupada. I understand that Krishna is all-inclusive of everything that exists, therefore he is everywhere. Maybe I'll just give commentary on our questions. Yes. Vedanta tat, tattva vidas, tattva yajnanam advayam. Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. Vedanta tat, what do they say? Tattva vidas, those who know the truth. Vedanta tat, tattva vidas, tattva yajnanam advayam. That the Supreme Lord is consciousness, which is inclusive of everything. And according to our perspective on that absolute truth and our means of approaching, he can manifest as either Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Paramatma, the Lord in the heart, or Brahman, his energy. And of course, we have understanding that if he's everything, he's also Bhagavan. He can appear in one place to reciprocate love. And since he is everywhere, the experience of his absence can be the result of one being covered by either Mahamaya or Yogamaya. Yes. Ishad upe tasya viparyo smriti. How do we come to this material world? Ishad upe tasya. We turn away from God. But how can you turn away from God if God is everything? Ishad upe tasya viparyo smriti. You have to be in the illusion to forget God. You can't really physically turn away from God because God is everywhere. And that's proven in the Prahlad story when Hiranyakashipu challenged his son, is God in this pillar? Yes. He's and then I quote from that German philosopher, where there is no circumference, the center is everywhere. So how can there be absence from God? My question is concerned only with the Vrijvasis who experiences who experience his separation, obviously only due to Yoga Maya. Right. Okay. There's a type of illusion that's a type of reality, like Mother Yasoda. This is great. I'm commenting on the commentaries of Gail. This is great. There's what was that? He's every, yeah, obviously you can only, so there's a type of illusion that's actually a reality. And I'll give you an example. For Krishna to experience, for Mother Yasoda to experience the motherly love, and the flavor of motherly love is I am your maintainer. And therefore the object of motherly love, the object of that flavor of the mother's mercy, there has to be an object of mercy. So therefore Krishna appears as a child. And when Mother Yasoda looked in his mouth and saw the universe and saw everything, she was disturbed because it ruined her bhav. Because God is self-sufficient. So she prayed again. So there's a type of illusion where she doesn't see he's God, but actually sees his intimate personality. Due to his inconceivable potency, although he is everywhere, he's also staying only as an abode of Vrindavan. Yes, Krishna is the full manifestation of any person is his love. And most aspects of love are suppressed in reverence. You can't have a sense of parental feelings towards God if you have that conception of his reverence, because those feelings are, um, I am your maintainer. Or if you have reverence, how can you have friendship? Because friendship is among equals. So the full manifestation of God is when his full love is manifest. Similarly, although he's everywhere, he can sometimes be physically absent from one place and other times physically present at the same place. If Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, here's your question, then what meaning would there be to situations like the Vrajvasi's pain of separation, Krishna is sending Uddhava with a message, the Vrajvasi's going to Kurukshetra to get Krishna, Krishna leaving Dwarka to see them in Braj. So here's what I think the first answer would be, that the highest reality is, one second, where does that go? The highest reality is love. And love is a very overpowering emotion. Rasa vai saha. The ultimate reality. This is such a beautiful theological conception. The highest reality is that God is enjoying. And what is he enjoying? He's enjoying love. And what can that love be? If it's God's love, what can the power of that emotion be? What would it actually be like to actually experience the beauty of Krishna? And what would that do to one's heart, and how much emotion would be there? So it's described in the Shastras, and this I'm studying with Niranjan Swami, that the two highest forms of love are prema vichitya and prema vivarta. Prema vivarta means that even when Krishna is not there, you see Krishna. So when he's apparently not there. So when Radharani is in separation from Krishna, she sees a tamal tree, which is dark. And because she's so full of emotion, she thinks it's Krishna. She's so sensitive. She sees that color. She embraces the tree. And she says, now that I have you in my arms, let the water element in my body dissolve into the river Jamuna, so that you can always be immersed in my embrace. Let me be my wind element in my body be merged with the wind of Vrindavan, so I'm always caressing your body. Let the earth element in me be merged in the ground, so your lotus feet are always in my head. And the other is prema vaichitya. And prema vaichitya means, this is very technical stuff, and I've been reading with Niranjan Swami, and it's not that you understand anything, but being absorbed in Krishna Katha. When your mind is really absorbed in Krishna Katha, you start to get a taste for Krishna, because there's a sambandha, there's a connection with God, and when we're absorbed in God, we can actually feel God. So prema vichitya means, even when Krishna's there, out of love, they don't see Krishna. And the famous story that exemplifies this is Krishna's at that beautiful place, Prem Sarovar, which is between Nandagam, where Krishna is living, and Varsana, where Srimati Radharani is living, and they meet there secretly, and Radharani is sitting on Krishna's lap, and then a bumblebee comes to disturb them, and Madhu Mangal, who's a Priya Narma Saka, a very confident friend that can even assist in these conjugal relationship with Radha and Krishna, gets his dupatta, his cloth, and chases the bee away, and then yells out to Krishna in the mood of service, Madhu is gone. And Madhu means bee, Madhu means honey, Madhu means Krishna. And Radharani in Mahabhav Sarup, the essence of the Ladini Shakti, Krishna's pleasure potency, is Krishna Prem. And when that emotion rises to its height, it's called Mahabhav. And what is Srimati Radharani? She's Mahabhav Sarup. She's the embodiment of love, the highest emotion of love. So you become very emotional and sensitive in this highest reality of love. And when she hears that Madhu is gone, it strikes her in such a way that she becomes overwhelmed with emotion that Krishna is gone, even though she's sitting on Krishna's lap. So what is that height of love? When even Krishna is there, she doesn't see Krishna. So the highest form of love is this prema vichitya. And that's what all these things mean. That Gail is bringing up, if I can bring her questions, is... I lost the questions. Where are they? 1 second. Here they are. How do you explain the Vrajarsi's pain of separation? Prema vichitya. That even though Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, out of love, they think Krishna's left Vrindavan. And I was listening to one lecture by one Brijavasi, and he gave a lok pramana. Pramana means means of evidence. The highest is shabda, you hear from authority. Then there's pratyaksha, direct experience, and then there's inference, logic. And the 10th one is lok pramana, it's village talk. So it doesn't have that much evidence, but still you can use it if it references a point. So in Lok Praman, they say, why did Krishna leave Vrindavan? Because after this incident at Prema Sarovara, where Radharani is sitting on Krishna's lap, and she hears Madhu is gone, and she's sitting on, but she's thinking in such mood of separation. And Krishna sees that in separation, the object which is external to you, Krishna, who she was sitting on his lap, goes within the heart. And in that sense, in that mood of separation, it's even a deeper connection with Krishna. And Krishna seeing this, seeing that he leaves Vrindavan. Krishna sending Uddhava them with a message. It's the same message he gave. They're feeling separation, but Krishna is saying, I am there, actually. I am there in my love. And again, that's the same conception. We're only separated from God by our means of consciousness. So all these questions that you asked are answered by that. But there's even a higher answer for that. And I'm going to explain even a better answer for your questions. And it's really wonderful that I feel so fortunate that every day for an hour between 9:30 and 10, I'm studying Shastra with Niranjan Swami, and we're reading very interesting things and discussing them. And somehow we're reading about this point now. And this was this was so much. This was so much really my conclusion because I really couldn't figure out everything. And we're reading a book called Krishna Sangati by Shivaram Swami. It has a 70-page introduction where it tries to reconcile all these points. And I see a lot of times, he's really good. He reconciles, but a lot of times I think he tries, but I don't think he's perfectly can reconcile the point. So this is the key point, and I'm going to write my next Monday morning greeting on it, not the one that happened yesterday, but this is the key point: the potency that removes all contradictions. This is by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Sri Krishna, the embodiment of eternality, absolute knowledge, and unlimited bliss, possesses an inconceivable potency called Virodha Bhunjika Shakti, removing all contradictions. By the influence of this potency, all apparent contrary principles and natures are united and are eternally present. Form and formlessness, omnipresence and localized beautiful physical presence, equal disposition towards all and special favor and mercy towards the devotees, birthlessness and taking birth, being the supreme object of everyone's worship and accepting the position of a cowherd boy, omniscience and accepting the position of a human being, impersonalism and personalism, and many such unlimited contradictory characteristics are wonderfully harmonized and manifest in Krishna's personality. And furthermore, they engaged in assisting the activities of Srimati Radhika, the embodiment of the highest spiritual emotions and pleasure-giving potencies. Those who doubt and contest this truth are truly deprived. Before one begins a debate, one must consider that human logic is very limited. Hence, it has no jurisdiction in the realm of the unlimited, inconceivable principle. The fortunate soul discards dry rhetoric and cultivates faith in the evidence of the revealed scriptures, the Vedas. The seed of faith sprouts and gradually grows into a creeper of devotion to finally rest at Krishna's lotus feet. So to me, that's the ultimate answer, that these contradictions will never perfectly be resolved because that realm is not under time. It's not constricted by space. And therefore, it's not under the laws of material nature and the laws of logic that rule material nature. And I always like to, in the Isha Upanishads, in the Sri Isha Upanishads, it presents Krishna's inconceivable potency as the first principle. Om Purnam Idam Purnamidam Purnam Purnamadachyate. The Supreme Personality of God, it is perfect and complete. And although so many units emanate, he remains the complete balance. Now here's just, I don't know if it's a humorous story, but somehow I was trying to finish a master's in education. And there was a a class I had to take on teaching elementary school mathematics. So I already knew that once I finished this, I was going to just join the temple in 1974. So I wrote a paper on teaching spiritual mathematics by the Isha Upanishads. How 1 minus 1 equals 1 in the absolute realm. So, yeah, it's God's, yeah. Anyway, that was my kind of answer to Gail, that ultimately God does what he wants. And we can't perfectly reconcile his Leela and pastimes because it just serves his will. So yes, he's in Vrindavan, and then and these things actually, I'll try to find you the section, Gail. They're elaborately described in this book, Krishna Sangati, what happens, and I can't remember them now. How Krishna leaves, and when he leaves in his Vasudev form, and then the gopis become kind of unmanifest. It's a whole complicated thing. And when I read it, and I said, God has inconceivable potency. Okay, Gail, you want to make one comment before I begin the rest of the class?
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. Well, I can't tell you how grateful I am to you for having addressed my questions. Thank you so much.
Whew.
I didn't say I didn't have any questions. I'm just expressing my gratitude.
Okay, we'll continue with the questions.
Okay.
Now we'll go to the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and we missed the class, so I have to keep everybody up to um, pace on this. And just the beginning, Sanatana Goswami has to, um, his mission is to teach and help people understand um, the pinnacle of bhakti, which is God's own devotion for himself in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to experience that. It's to taste and distribute. And of course, that's everybody's mission. Our mission is to taste something of value and to share it with others. Jiva Doi, Krishna Nam, Sarva Dharma Sar. The essence of all religion is Jiva Doi, compassion. When you're in this world, you have to compassion. And compassion is the basis of sharing Krishna consciousness because taste is the basis of compassion. Because unless you experience the beauty of love of God, there won't be an impetus to share it with others. But anyway, Sanatana Goswami, he's understanding it, he's tasting it, and he wants to give it. And then he becomes inspired on how to give it, how to explain it. And he comes up, I don't say he actually comes up, but he accesses these never before heard stories. And we can't say when they actually manifest because God is existing since time immemorial. He's eternal. So we can't have this egocentric view that our limited space of time, even in this universe of Kalpa, that this is the limit to God's glory and his pastimes and activities. How much do we actually have access to, even in the Bhagavatam? So he somehow accesses these stories, and basically he wants to highlight what this love is by illustrating the people who have received this to the highest degree and the place that facilitates that love to the highest degree. So the first book was Narada Muni searching for the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy, and it ends in Vrindavan. I think 90% of you have heard this so many times. It ends Vrindavan. And because the story he's being told, the story that's being narrated is actually this very esoteric, untold story of what happened when Maharaj Parikshit heard the Bhagavatam. When you hear truth, you fix your mind in following that truth. So the whole Bhagavatam is to fix our mind on the absolute truth and inspire us in the method to realize it. So he's heard that from Sukadeva Goswami, and just like Vyasadeva, when he realized this truth, what happened? To write the Bhagavatam, when he realized it, what happened? Bhakti Yogena Manasi. He fixed his mind in the devotional connection with God. That's the ultimate reality. And it's the highest thing of value. Prema Pumarta Mahan. The art of the thing that is the greatest is that connection with God. And because that's universal love. And that's really what we value. If we analyze anything in this world, and I kind of quote from this drama I helped to write, everyone is looking for pleasure, and pleasure is love. And if it exists here, why shouldn't it exist in the ultimate reality? So, what would that love be? That would be universal love. It would be love of God, which would be a flourishing of the heart, that because God is that consciousness which pervades everything, it would be the ultimate feeling of love, because it would be for God, and it would be inclusive of everything. So the Bhakti Yogena Manasi, so his mind was fixed in this devotion. Samyak Pranayate Male. Male means like dirt. Samyak means complete. Samyak Pranayate Male, without any distraction. So Maharaj Pariksit, this is natural. Like that great saint in Barsana told me, it begins with thoughts. When you have the right thoughts, then you have the right actions, then you have the right habits, then you have the right character, then you have the right destination. There's a result. There should be a result of knowledge and understanding, that it's applied and it's realized. So Maharaj Pariksit heard that Bhagavatam, and he realized it, and therefore he was to fix his mind on it. Where attention goes, energy flows. He was going to fix his mind on that. And then his mother came and wanted a summary. So because he only had his 6 days, and because he was realized, and when you realize, you can take a truth and you can reshape it for your audience without losing it. And he comes up with this story of Narada Muni, which really parallels the Bhagavatam, and it winds up right where the Bhagavatam winds up in the 10th canto, with the right with the right understanding, with the right attention because of faith, the right attitude because of purity of heart, the right understanding because of education. And with those perceptual criteria, you can actually perceive. My next Monday morning greetings is about 5 components of perception. There has to be attention. There has to be sense perception. There has to be attention. There has to be the right understanding. There has to be the right attitude. And in terms of perceiving persons, it has to be by their mercy only. So fixed, and it brings us to this 10th canto, and gives us the right attitude, and gives us the right understanding, and gives us the faith to be attentive. That's the first part of the story. But the second part of the Mother Uttara wants to know, what is the place? And I explained many times, the place and the person You understand the person by the place, by the person by the place. It has this kind of relationship, just like in the Bhagavatam it says, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. That by hearing the Bhagavatam, Nasta Prayeshu, but all that's inauspicious almost becomes destroyed. Nasta Prayeshu, but Nityam Bhagavata Seva. By how? Nityam Bhagavata, by serving the Bhagavatam. And it mentions that when you serve the person Bhagavatam, you get the book Bhagavatam. The person Bhagavatam is about the book Bhagavatam, and the book Bhagavatam is about the person Bhagavatam. So it's the same way. The person, when you understand the person, you understand the place, you understand the place, you understand the person. So Sanatana Goswami is so fixed on this mission, how difficult it will be to communicate to us. This is what the sages of Naimisharanya saw when they saw the Kali Yuga. What did they see? Prayenalpa yasha shubha. People are short-lived. Prayenalpa yasha shubha. Kalav asmin yuge janaha. Manda. Sumanda mateo manda. They're disturbed. They're unfortunate. They're lazy. So how to give this? So he's not taking any chances. When someone makes a good argument, he can make it from many different angles to ensure that people understand his point. So Sanat Goswami wants us to understand this point, that the highest love is God's love for himself, which he experiences in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and wants to distribute this to the world, and wants us to understand this despite our Kalo Sudra Sambhava, that everyone that is born in this age is disadvantaged. He wants us to understand. So he presents it, and we've been following this incredible story, which is purifying our understanding, which is purifying our heart, so that when we perceive this highest reality of Radha and Krishna with the pure heart, we will see it in its pure form. With the pure understanding, we'll understand in its pure form. And we'll be able to not only understand that truth, we'll be able to feel that truth, we'll have faith in that truth. It's not easy. And then the second book, which we're following, and it comes into this story somehow. I'm not going to go through it because I can't spend the whole class on it, but I like to repeat it to keep it. It's Gop Kumar, this cowherd boy, who somehow or other meets this Mahabhagavat, who gives him this Gopal mantra, this mantra that will reveal Sambandha Visesh Gyan, Bhagavat Sarup Gyan. The mantra will reveal what is the form of God in which we are connected and what is our specific relationships. He gets it. And then his guru disappears in ecstasy, and he becomes inspired. The mantra is inspiring him. I should worship God. I should find God. And he begins his search for God. And somehow or other, the seed that is manifest from his heart and watered by his mantra is the seed that the Bhagavat Sarup Gyan is beautiful Sri Krishna as a cowherd boy, and the Sambandha Visesh Gyan is I am his friend. So that's there, but he was never educated. And if you're not educated, to the extent you're not educated, you have to learn by trial and error. So he has something that's truth, that's moving him in a direction, but it's not moving him in a straight direction. And it's also satisfying Uttara's inquiry, what is this topmost place? So he's going to different places. And as you remember, one of the last places he wound up was Jagannath Puri, and he had this interesting karma that he was a simple cowherd boy, but he was so attractive. And he was so attractive by his simplicity and his devotion that somehow or other the king became attracted to him and adopted him as his son, and somehow he wound up as the king. But somehow or other, he was kind of hankering for Vrindavan. That was kind of his heart. But he would also see that in Lord Jagannath, the form of God, and he became attached to that. But it wasn't fully satisfying him to his full potential. And he fell in the mental plane. Some Mathura, some people from Vrindavan came to Puri, and somehow he was inspired, no, I should go back to Vrindavan. And then he fell on the mental plane, where you start to calculate, horrible plane, which is best for me. That's the mental plane. What is best for God becomes more easily revealed, because you take out your personal ego and your own your ego. I'm the enjoyer, I'm the controller. Where do I get more? And that creates this mental plane. Do this, which is more? Where do I get more? What is best for me? And the spiritual platform, it's much easier to resolve because there's not that personal motive. A lot of times, I've had this many times, people ask me what to do. I don't know what to do in devotion. I don't know what to do in this situation. What should I do? And I tell them what I do, and I feel it's very, very effective. I go before Prabhupada, I go before the deities, and with sincerity I try to pray. You tell me what to do, and I will do it. And that is such a brave declaration that we have to make in our lives, in our hearts. That's what spiritual life means. That's the seed of bhakti. It's that faith that the highest satisfaction and happiness is the pleasure of God. But that will not conform necessarily to what our attachments and aversions are in this world. Something towards God will be averse to. And some things that God wants, it will be averse to, and some things that we have are not good for us, and something that we don't want are good for us. That is the courage of spiritual life. People say, how do you find a guru? You go in your heart and you make that declaration. What do you want? What is a gopi? A term for gopi is kinkari. Kinkari means kinkari, what you do. I want what you will want. And it doesn't even mean renunciation, because what God wants for us is to remember him. And to do that, we need a lot of things. So that's a lot of the things, even our personal desires that we want, is also what God wants. So it's not that I'll do what you want and God's going to say, go to the forest. He told Arjuna to fight. He tells some people to get married. Some people raise family. He tells some people to leave it. But that courage, I want the truth. I want to live by the truth. So sometimes I do that, and it's very difficult. You tell me what you want, and I know if that's sincere, and I give that phrase, destiny is the language of God, it will be revealed. So Gop Kumar was on this mental plane, but then Jagannath himself spoke, get off the mental plane. Of course, his was kind of very spiritual because whether can I leave Jagannath, the form of God that I'm so attached for, but I want God. It's like it actually now I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking about now? I just realized this now. His dilemma was the same dilemma that the gopis had. And that's what Jagannath is. The gopis met Krishna, but he wasn't in Vrindavan, so he couldn't manifest his more intimate side. So they were not satisfied there. They wanted him back in Vrindavan. So I think Gop Kumar is like that too. He's there, but he's not there. Because he has this sense of Vraja Bhakti, which is very sweet and very intimate. So somehow Jagannath tells him, go to Vrindavan, I'm there. But he goes to Vrindavan, but because this is where we're up now, because he doesn't have the right knowledge and understanding, he doesn't know he's forgotten the method to extract Vrindavan. Because one aspect of perception, and I discussed this in this article I write about the 5 components of perception. One is called, I have sense perception, attentiveness, understanding, attitude, and revelatory. And revelatory means when you want to understand the truth of a person, the truth can only be manifest by the mercy of that person. And this is, in my article, I'm saying this is so true in bhakti. This is so important. That bhakti is not just about the senses. It's about being attentive. It's about having the right understanding, having the right attitude. And also being bestowed with mercy, so that the object of our perception, which is Krishna, that we approach with the right attention, the right attitude, the right understanding, reveals himself. So he went to Vrindavan, but he didn't go in the right way. So he didn't see it, he didn't understand it. And therefore he was again hankering for Puri, where my Lord is manifest. So then he leaves Vrindavan, he just starts to go back to Puri, and somehow on his way he meets these Brahmins. Satkarma Nipano Vipro Mantra Tantra Visharada Avaishnava Guru Nasyat Swajana. Mantra Tantra is very attractive. Swaha, they knew it. And they describe Swargaloka. There's none of the pains of this material world. Heavenly planets, none of the inebrities of this material world. And he not only hears about that, but he understands that Indra, who's the king, his younger brother Vamanadeva is there, and he can get personal darshan of God. So he heard this, and he was very eager. This we are today. He's eager for that Manoratha, the chariot of the mind. The desire can carry us to a particular place. It all begins with our desire. So he had Manoratha. He had, this is the verse we're up to, Tadarshane Jata Manoratha. So eager to see God, Jata, born, Manoratha, this desire, and it became akula, it became anxious, it became so intense. So Sankalpa Purvam, with this vow, Swajapam, he chanted. And Swapam, very short time. So the mantra, and I described this, and I think about a week and a half ago in a Wednesday class, and I think most of you weren't there, but there's that idea that if it's Tivrena Bhakti, where it's focused and so intent, then sarva kama ova, moksha karma, udaradi, Tivrena Bhakti yogena, yajeta purushopram. Akama, no material desire. Sarva karma, all material. Moksha karma, desire for liberation. You will get whatever you want if it's Tivrena Bhakti Yoga. And there's a verse in the Bhagavatam, I read it, I never copied it down, that Krishna says, for that devotee who intensely wants me, or intensely wants material desire, I may fulfill that desire, but that's all he'll get. That's all he'll get. So eager to see him, he chanted his mantra specifically for this purpose. And a celestial airplane came. And then he came. And there I saw the same Sri Vishnu whom earlier had seen worship in the king's palace on the shore of the Ganga. So remember, he went to a king and he became the king's son, and then he became the king, and then it happened in Jagannath Puri too. But it could never satisfy one who has Vishya Vinivartante, Nirahadrasya Dayana, Raso Rajam, Raso Pyasya Param. If you have that faith in God and have experienced some connection with God, and you've renewed that faith by the constant experience, because the nature of faith or experience, it recedes. I even think we had this beautiful Super Soul retreat. It was really wonderful, those of you that are there. And we got some kind of taste of what is that real life of chanting and hearing and love and associating with devotees. And, by the next year, the experience will recede, and some people, should I go or not go? It may recede. So faith is like that. It kind of recedes. And if it's not renewed, one forgets the faith, the experience that brought them to Krishna consciousness. Anyway, he saw the same Vishnu who he earlier had seen worship in the king's palace, the shore of the Ganga. And now that what he saw in deity form, he's now seeing in Swagaloka personally. Because Vamana is there as the younger brother of the King of Heaven, and that Lord, the concentrated embodiment of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, was seated on a royal throne. The attractive shoulders of Garuda, surrounded by a host of demigods, the Lord praised the sweet music of Narada's Veena. So this is not Narada's story, it's Gopkumar's story, but Narada is there. And whenever you see the Lord, you see the devotees that worship him, just like in Brahma Vimohan Leela, when Lord Brahma comes back and he sees Vishnu, and he's surrounded by devotees who are chanting him. And this is how the holy name brings us to Vrindavan. Because the holy name is not different than Krishna. When chanted sincerely, it reveals the Lord's form. And then it reveals the Lord's qualities. And then it reveals the Lord's devotees who are attracted to those qualities. And then we become attracted to serve Krishna as those devotees are experiencing personally Krishna. There's a lot in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is it like to experience Krishna? There becomes a competition between the senses and the sense attributes. The eyes want to see Krishna's form. The ear wants to hear Krishna's voice. The skin wants to touch Krishna's body. The tongue wants to taste the beauty of Krishna. And each sense, it's Krishna. such a theological conception that the absolute truth is beauty, and that beauty is born from the desire of the absolute truth to please his devotees and invoke their devotion. And what can be the power of that devotion? So he's seeing Indra and he's seeing Narada singing such beautiful devotion, and you can practically see that prema, which is the energy between the devotees and God. He's practically seeing and feeling that prema. So he's watching that. Thus I attained the goal of my endeavors and saw the object I hankered to see. I chanted my mantra, this brought me here. I now considered my life perfected. From a distance, again and again, offered prostrated obeisance and recited prayers. Lord Vishnu then called out to me in a voice mellow with compassion. Wow. He called out with a voice. Anugraha, compassion, snigdha vacha, the vacha, the voice, anugraha, snigdha, with the mellow, the affection of compassion, he calls out to me. And what is my Bob? I fall on the ground, I fall on the ground. It's not just an activity, it's an emotion. I fall on the ground, I fall on the ground. I feel my life perfected. And again, it's not his ultimate destination, nor does the environment nourish that. So ultimately, he can't be satisfied. And I tried to give some analogy of me visiting that South Indian temple with Tota Gopinath and Lal and Braja. We visit that South, and it's so many deities, and it's beautiful, and Om Param Padam. There's so much reverence, and it's beautiful, and I'm a devotee of Krishna, and here's Krishna manifest in Venkateshwara Krishna, in Guru Vaya Krishna, and there's so many deities and the forms, and it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. It's satisfying me. I'm separated from Krishna, but ultimately it will invoke in my heart that I want to satisfy my relationship with Krishna in the environment that nourishes that love, which is Vrindavan and the Brijbasis. So the satisfaction will turn into dissatisfaction. What great fortune, dear son of a cowherd, that you've come here. Enough with this bowing down on the ground. Don't be afraid to come close. Dishtya gato si tvam atra si gopanandana alam danda pranamar me nikate nusarabhyam. Dishya, what fortune, what fortune. Again, when you repeat something twice, it is a grammatical editing, needs editing or defect unless it's an expression of enthusiasm. But whose enthusiasm it is? It's God to see his devotee with spontaneous love. That's what we see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. God is about to appear, but he wants this more spontaneous love, more forceful love, that's not distant, obligatory, and fearful reverence. It's such a sweet, perfected feeling, but somehow it's not as forceful. When it's reverential, there's obligation, there's duty, there's fear, and that fear is also bhakti. I'm with my revered father. I hope I don't make a mistake, but it's my revered father. How much devotion, how much love is in that? But it's not forceful as my friend, my friend. And God, look, God wants that, even though it's Vamanadev. Who is Vamanadev? It's a manifestation of Krishna. So Krishna is actually there, but he is not revealing himself fully, or is revealing an aspect of himself to satisfy devotees of that particular relationship. And we have that in the world. There's a mother, and she has one relationship with her husband, one relationship with children, one relationship with her friends, one relationship with her parents. And she manifests those aspects of herself that where she can satisfy those people and feel love and complete in those relationships. But we're most satisfied with intimate love, which is not bound by any obligation, where it's spontaneous, it's rag bhakti. So God himself says, fortune, dear son, that you have come here. And he says, who? Gopanandana, the son of a cowherd. Enough with this bowing on the ground, bowing on the ground. Don't be afraid. Nikate, anusar, come close, aboyam, without fear. Right? Reverence is distance, it's fear. He's saying, no, no fear, no distance. Just like there's this drama that's it's an example is given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's Rasa Bas. It's supposed to be about a king who meets his friend. And then his friend says, please accept my humble obeisances. And the king is like disappointed. Give me a hug, man. Come close. You're my friend. Don't be fearful just because I'm the king and I have subjects that are fearful and subjects are reverent. You're my friend. The example I remember, and Kalachandra there, and his brother Tamal Krishna Maharaj told me, or maybe Kalachandra told me the story, that I think maybe he even approached his brother for initiation. And he said, I have 1,000 disciples. I have one brother. I'm not going to ruin it. Because he was appreciating that relationship, the intimacy of that relationship. Of course, there's so much appreciation, but he also appreciated that intimacy. That's a little less reverential. Of course, it's the older brother. So, Tasya, I'm going a little bit later because the class usually goes to 9, and I started early because I thought I was going to have this whole program this morning, but it was canceled. Tasya gyaya mahendrena prerataistri desharham agrata sadaram nitva pratyanad upaveshita. By the Supreme Lord's order, the great Indra had some of the demigods respectfully bring me forward and induce me to take a seat. So they see that Vamanadev is like, this is like my friend. So they want to satisfy their master, so they get him by the hand, they bring him respect. No, you sit front, he wants to see you. And remember, on the highest platform, but you'll see in Swagaloka there's still envy, but on the highest platform, there is no envy. We see that in Brihad Bhagavatamrita late, we saw it in the first chapter, that the queens, they hid behind the trees when Krishna went to Nava Vrindavan. And Krishna thought he was in the real Vrindavan. Vasudeva Krishna in Dwarka, who's the king, he thinks he's in the real Vrindavan, and the intimacy of his heart comes out for the gopis, and they see it. But because bhakti means the happiness of my beloved, when they see their beloved become happy, they become more ecstatic. Not that they want to become like that, but they want to improve their service. So they satisfied me by offerings of heavenly pleasures in a residence in Nandananda, the forest. I felt delighted. Here I saw there was no pain, no fear, no death, no sorrow, no disease, fatigue, or old age. My God, what would we do for that? No pain, no fear, no death. There's places like that. It's Swargaloka. And yet, for the devotee, Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundarim, Kavitam Va, Jagadisha, Kamaye, Mama Janmani, Janmani Eshri, Bhavatad, Bhakti, Ahoitaki. He doesn't want that because he has faith that the experience of connection with God is infinitely greater than any material consideration. But it's easy to be allured. There were a few flaws in heaven, but I didn't take them into account because I felt enormous joy in freely seeing the Lord of the universe. In purport, it mentions sometimes the demigods quarrel among themselves, but this he's not going to get distracted by that. He had never seen the Supreme Lord so fully display his personality before. Every day, the great Indra worshipped the Supreme Lord with heavenly opulence, regarding the Lord as his brother, his master, and his shelter, offering gifts, as the purport says, like Amrita, nectar, and Parijata flowers. And he did with intense affection, his Lord with reverence, and his shelter with heartfelt gratitude. He was with the Lord, he was serving the Lord, and he felt the Lord's love for him. Like the cowherd boys, when they hear Krishna's flute, they don't just hear music, they hear very personal, because Krishna's even conceivable potency, very personal calling to them. Krishna saying, "Oh, my friend, thank you for your service." So here, heart, he's so grateful for it. Manas yakara varam chaited aho danya shatakratu yohi shri vishnuna datam sarayitva narakulam trilokaishvaryam asadya bhagavantam imam muda upahara chaya divyai griyamana swayam yajait. I thought to myself, how fortunate is Indra. He has gained the opulence of the three worlds promised by Sri Vishnu and enjoys them without anxiety, and he has gained the Supreme Lord himself, whom he now worships with many kinds of heavenly offerings, which the Lord graciously accepts. Purport, the Lord had a secret plan to give Gop Kumar a special role in Indra's kingdom. Now, this is an extraordinary plan, but he becomes king there and he's not satisfied. He becomes king there, becomes king there, and he's a gopi and he's not satisfied. So it's a special plan. It's very extraordinary. But the idea is God has the same plan for us. And he is working in that way. If you saw my article, The Power of Gratitude, that he wants to give us a consciousness and a pleasure that's worth any of the pain we endured to get it. And then I gave that example of the oyster. The irritant creates the pearl. There's an irritant and some carbonite and something else covers it and it becomes a pearl. And when I read this on these articles on gratefulness, it said, as the pearl is precious, the wound is precious. So as the consciousness we get will be so valuable from practicing Krishna consciousness, the difficulties we got to get there will also be valued. And one with an evolved consciousness, he understands whatever circumstance he has, that's happening to them right now. It's so difficult. It's so difficult to entangle ourselves from so many subtle misconceptions, subtle desires. It's so difficult. So that's God's mercy. He's creating the circumstances to now enable us to get that realization. So the Lord had a secret plan to attract him towards this life, towards this the Lord, and attract him towards this. The Lord arranged for Gopal Kumar to become appreciative of Indra's opulence. Lord Vishnu had helped Indra subdue the demons and take hold of sovereignty. With the demons defeated, no serious threats to Indra's rule remain. Indra enjoys the liberty to worship the Lord with all riches at his disposal, and the Lord accepts this Indra's offering with his own hand. So he's very excited. Look, there's no obstacles here. I can live opulently, but really I can offer that opulence to God, and there's no offer, there's just like a flow of love, and all the other things are taken not as high as Kunti. Vipata shantu tashashva tatra tatra. Let these calamities happen again. Because when I see you, then there's no birth in this world. I thought, will this personality of God show me the same mercy? Maintaining my desire, I recited there and chanted my mantra. So he became attracted. It is attractive. It is attractive. When you're not fully accessing your faith, which is there in your heart, lesser faith may become attractive. You go to the South Indian temple, wow, this is so beautiful, you may be attracted. And then you may desire, let me have this. So he desired, this is great. Look at this situation, face to face with Vamana and Indra with all this opulence. And it's not just opulence, it's a manifestation of Indra's love to serve his Lord. So he said, I want that. And maybe God will let me do this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Yeah, maybe, and he's praying. Then it once happened that Indra forcefully violated the dear wife of an exalted sage. Boy, Indra blew it. How many times have we blown it? How many times have we just done stupid things that we regret or stupid things that we were forced to do? Abrahma Bhuvano Loke Puna Avartanamjana. From the top to the bottom in this material world, people die. And if they're into karma, even if they're very pious, something may happen to them. It may be Krishna's mercy to humble them. It may be Krishna's mercy to bring something out so they can see it and reject it. But this happens in the world. We have to be very, very careful. Our bodies move by karma and they dictate certain things. And when you're not careful, when you're least expect it, you're elected. You're not the lucky guy. Purport, Gopkumar, and out of shame and fear of being cursed, Indra hid somewhere. Gopkumar soon achieved his desire, as Indra had previously abused the wives of Devasarma and Gautam Rishi. Now he kidnapped the wife of another sage and forced himself upon her, and under similar circumstances he had hid himself in the filaments of a lotus flower in the Manasi Sarovara. He again found a hiding place that no one would discover. I read one time that Indra is a Shaktavesh avatar, something for lust. He'd be lust as a god, so he has a problem. One more verse. Daivar Anvishya Bahuda Sana Prapto Yadatata Araja Katavat Trilokyam Abhibhutam Upadrava. The demigods searched for him everywhere, but unable to find him by any means. And with no one ruling heaven, disturbance overwhelmed the three worlds. Okay, so we still have a nice group that. Yamunajaya, are you still there?
Yes, Maharaj. I thought I had to leave early, but I was able to come back.
Okay, what?
Oh, there's so many points today, so many points, and I just want to scream and enter right now. I'm like, what are you doing? But like you idiot. But I really loved what you said about how taste is the basis of compassion. I really love that point a lot. That if we taste, then we know how good it is, and so that it moves us to want to give the basis of compassion. I
And
never
we feel
thought of it that way.
compassion for people who don't have that.
Who don't have it.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
if you don't have that, then you have envy for people who have that.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, taste is
I,
the seed of
the basis
compassion. And therefore, Prabhupada said, taste and distribute.
distribute.
And if you just distribute, it'll lack the compassion, really.
And the other thing I really love that you said, it was to answer to Gail's question, well, many things about Gail's question, but when you said the object that is separated from you then goes into your heart.
In
That's so
separation.
beautiful. In separation.
So Krishna sees that love more. Gail, you want any clarification on that thing I gave you?
Yeah, yeah, just a couple things. You made the comment that, well, for one thing, I would say that the main understanding that my main takeaway was that yes, Krishna is everywhere at all times, but when you have a love that is to that heightened degree, you will experience it like he's not there.
Right, to increase your love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I read this question to Naranjan Swami,
Hmm.
and we discussed it like that, and it came down to this prema vaicitya.
Yeah.
The love is so high, so they never leave Vrindavan and the residents of Vrindavan, but in that love, yeah. Okay, Gail, we're gonna have to do this on a personal call.
Yeah. Just one thing, Mirage, when
Yeah,
that term that you often use in our sanghas here, bhava manifestation,
yeah.
is that your is that your term, or is there a
No,
reference for
that's
it?
that's what Krishna said to the gopis.
I'm there in my bhava manifestation.
Yes, we'll look it
Do you
up
remember? Do you remember where he said that?
in the Uddhava
Oh,
when
in the Bhagavatam.
when he sent the message with Uddhava.
Okay.
Just look it up. What was? Let me see if I can quickly. Um, how do I do this? One second. One second. I want to do this. One second. Okay, I can't find it.
Oh, okay. But Maharaj, I'm. Can I write you
Yeah,
another
write me
question?
again. Write me again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just one last thing about Brihat Bhagavatamrita, can I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gop Kumar, he had the right mood. That's why he was moving, albeit indirectly, to his goal. And he finally gets to Vrindavan. So with that mood in his heart for Krishna, why didn't Krishna reveal himself? You said that there's five things needed. I mean, didn't he have the right attitude? Which of those five things was he lacking that Krishna didn't reveal himself?
Anyway, I can go over this more, but it appears that he lacked some understanding. He lacked some understanding, so he didn't have full realization. Yeah.
Because one would
There's
think
always
that.
this play in this thing between his heart and his understanding. His heart it carries in one place, his lack of understanding carries him another place.
Uh-huh,
And
uh-huh.
so that happens all through. Okay, Gail.
Okay, thank you so much, Maharaj.
Anybody else quickly like to say hello?
Maharaj, Thank you so much for the
Hey,
class.
Haribo.
Uh, you referred to your article on gratitude,
Yeah,
and actually, I am going to give a class tomorrow to teach people on this subject.
yeah,
And I would like to ask a question, one sentence from your article.
yeah.
There are two types of happiness, to enjoy and control the world, or to appreciate and serve our destiny. Could you please little bit elaborate
Yeah,
on?
basically, there's to enjoy and there's to serve, right?
Mm,
So enjoyment means that we want the world to conform to our desires, right? Service means that we want to serve the world however Krishna moves it. Okay?
yes, wonderful. Thank you.
It does look now like Jagadish, because the war has ended.
Yes, yes, I understand.
He'll be able to come, but still stay on standby just in case for a short while, but it looks like he'll be able to come.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else like to say hello?
Maharaj, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Hey, Brahma. Haribo.
Yeah, so many interesting topics. I'm looking forward to your Monday morning because this whole idea of perception is so key. I mean, mindfulness is, for the last 20 years, it's been um, such a topic that's pervaded everything. But the real key is attentive chanting, and so I'm anxious to hear what you have to say.
Okay, yeah, and I love if anything I said can be researched fully. But I came up with that template myself. Senses,
Oh, I'm very
attention,
interested.
understanding, attitude, and revelation. Yeah.
I'm most interested.
Yeah, let's
Thanks.
exchange on that.
I will.
Okay.
I
Haribo,
will.
anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Okay, good. Haribo. Nice. Okay. A little more
Thank you very
peaceful,
much for the
a
class.
little more peaceful there now?
Where in Iran?
Yeah.
Well, it seems so. Yeah, it seems it's a bit
It
more
must be
peaceful.
because you're not covering your head and you're wearing tilak.
No, I am not in Iran,
Oh, that's
Maharaj.
right. You're in
I am
Vancouver.
in Vancouver. I'm going to Ratha Yatra today. I'm going to
Oh,
temple now. I'm in the car. We are going to
okay.
Sharanagati today.
Oh, Sharanagati. You ever been there?
Yeah, Ratha Yatra is in Sharanagati. I'm going to join them. I'm in the car now. Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
No, this is the first time, Maharaj.
Oh, yeah. That's Jamuna Devi used to live there. That's a special place.
Yeah, it's a special
Okay.
place. I'm really excited to go there.
Okay, great. See, not
Yeah.
only your daughter can enjoy, you can also enjoy.
Yeah, still I'm here. I supposed to go tomorrow to Iran, but well, now it's canceled. So I'm going to stay 2 months more. Yeah,
Okay, good. We'll talk
yeah,
later.
yeah.
So
Please pray for us, Maharaj.
I'm praying
Iran
for
is in a
everyone.
bad situation. Yeah,
Okay, I'm praying that I can go there and eat. I don't know
yeah.
if
I
I'm not
hope so,
affected.
Maharaj. Yeah,
Okay,
that's our wish. Yeah, thank you.
okay.
We need your blessing. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you.
Samantha, nice to see you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
I have a few questions. So, you had said there's thought, action, character, and I was trying to write it down. And the fourth,
Thoughts, action, character, habit, destination.
okay, that's what I wanted. I missed that. It's amazing, like even though joining this class late, there's so much you can still get from it. It's incredible. So,
Okay. I'm just glad to see you here. And we'll keep you posted, especially my birthday, which,
yes, please.
okay. Hi, Mo.
Please.
Great to see you again.
Hi.
Hi, Mo. Okay, someone else say hello?
Hare Krishna Gumaraj, it's Saul Govinda.
And Braja, thank you for
Thank you
class.
for class.
Can't wait to come back to warm New Jersey.
It's been warm.
It's cold there now, huh? It's their winter?
It's at 2,000 feet or something. It's not winter.
Oh.
It's the same all year, but
Oh,
people are very special, very receptive.
that's great, Maharaj.
I met one lady the other day. She came to see me. She's only about 2 weeks,
Mm,
2 months in the mission.
mm.
It's like she's got a sadhana now, and she's following it, and she's registered to study Bhagavad Gita in Spanish. I mean,
Amazing.
it's like swabhavika, you know, bhakti, God, family, you know, it's very natural here in people's hearts.
It's great.
It's
Okay.
great.
Haribo.
Very well.
Very well.
Okay. I think we will end now. I'm going to look at the list of all the people that came. So thank you so much. I see everybody. I know everybody.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Brajrade here.
Jai Brajarade. Nice. We're going to have a program at your house, right? I'm looking forward.
Yeah, Sunday, coming Sunday,
July
6th.
coming Sunday. Wow. July 6th at Brajarade's new house. Anybody who's in the area, please come. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Vancha